Everyone's breaking record against them this year, aren't they? So much to unpack there too. 81 Test veteran of the All Blacks, Justin Marshall, joins us every Monday to talk Super Rugby. Welcome back, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Before we do, though, a couple of quick questions. One, obviously, is going to be about Going, Gone, Super Sid, who a big hero of mine. I know he will be of yours as well. But just quickly, being the golfer that you are, you were watching Xander this morning?
Yes, I was, actually. It's been a really interesting championship, hasn't it? And as a major, I think when you went into the last day, there was probably half a dozen golfers that could have won it. But Xander Schauffele, fair play to him to being able to maintain the type of form that he did throughout the tournament, and even with the pressure of having to birdie that last hole, he managed to achieve that to win it, and his first major as well, so outstanding. Although I didn't have my money on him, I had my money on Victor Hovland, and he blew out. Unfortunately, he had a really good period, but eventually run out of wind.
I was just saying before, mate, I love those moments where a guy's sitting and standing in front of a putt like that. And I think, the only other things I can imagine in sport are you're down by 1 point, you've got a couple of free throws in the last second, you've got to clinch them both, maybe a penalty and a penalty shootout, maybe a last second conversion or something like that. It's a very lonely spot to be though, or it feels like it is.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I guess the enormity of it as well, like guys, I guess, that have won multiple majors, then they probably don't have that pressure thinking, oh, well, look, worst case scenario, I'm in a playoff. But for Xander, obviously he had to make that putt. Otherwise, he's facing the situation of going into a playoff and not securing that major. So, yeah, it is a lonely spot, but he never looked rattled or phased, did he? He just stayed composed. He looked very methodical, and ultimately, he was the leader throughout the tournament, deserved to win it, and I was really pleased for him, although he cost me my bet.
Gets the monkey off his back. Very sad news over the weekend. Look, he was 80 years old, which is a pretty good innings. Sid going, Super Sid, 86 matches for the All Blacks, but only 29 tests, so he played 57 other matches. And I always say you've played 81 tests. How many other matches did you play for the All Blacks, mate?
I think I only played 3, so not many. Back in the day, obviously, there was a lot of games that he played for the All Blacks that didn't qualify as test matches. He was over a decade. Sid Going played, only that handful amount of tests, and compared to the amount of rugby that he probably could have chalked up if he was playing in the modern day for a period of that time. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Very sad news to learn of Super Sid Going's passing on the weekend, and obviously thoughts go out to his friends and family at this sad time, because it's not only a sad time for them, it's a sad time for rugby. He, I feel, transformed the way that a halfback approached and played the game. He was a genuine runner of the rugby ball, and he was tough, he was physical, and I think he probably forged the way forward for halfbacks to be more than just passing when they were out there and fulfilling that duty. So I knew Sid, spent time with him, saw him at reunion dinners, an early part of my career. He was very good to have around, offered me some advice, and just a really nice bloke as well to go with, I guess, the legend that he was.
Yeah, well said, Justin. And I also love the connection that you make, because I was going to, say that out loud too, that I thought, I don't know whether you consciously modelled, a fair bit of your game on him, but that certainly that combativeness and that, ability and desire to run with the ball as well as pass the ball and snipe and look for that gap. He did actually revolutionise, I reckon, that. And at the time, who was it? Who was the Welsh halfback at the time as well? Who was... Yeah, those two in particular. As a kid, I remember growing up with the absolute iconic world rugby halfback. So let's look at Super Rugby. 4 significant results over the weekend, and in no particular order, but I've earmarked the Blues, the Chiefs, the Crusaders, and the Drua. The Blues, to start with, taking care of business. How good are they? Are they combative enough? Are they ruthless enough? Are they serious enough? Because they are the best side in the comp, but are they all of those things to win it from here?
I think you actually nailed it with the words you used there. Like, they are combative enough. They are enough, I should say, and they equally are serious, because they are, when they want to, able to turn the screw. They can turn it, but equally they're ruthless. And I think that ruthlessness, which I saw at the weekend, is there's probably at the moment not a side in Super Rugby that is as good as them once they get into the opposition 22. At being patient, at being those words that you use, combative, ruthless, and putting points on. And I feel they can do that, having made the changes they made at the weekend. Look, it wasn't faultless. The Highlanders were in the game for you could probably say, the entire first half, until it finally got away with them in the second. But good teams who make quite a lot of changes, adjust and adapt. And the Blues, even though they had their moments in that game, still won that game really comfortable. So, yes, they are the real deal.
Yeah, 47-13, people. And, every week, you've got to just look at this team and ask those questions, because these are the questions that they'll be asking themselves. They've got so close in the past. They've lost to the Hurricanes this year. They've beaten the Hurricanes. And now they're obviously going to get, very crucially, that those finals games at home, Justin. It's theirs, I said earlier, it's theirs to lose, I feel, from here.
Possibly. But again, they will be very well aware that they had an amazing season a couple of years ago, and the Crusaders came to Eden Park and crashed the party. And, this was a very good Blues side, and there was the Crusaders coming into that match as underdogs. So whilst they'll be very well aware that it's better to be at home in your own environment and particularly at a stadium like Eden Park in front of your home crowd, the job still needs to be done. So, yeah, look, it'll be very, I guess, unusual if they don't probably secure that top spot. Their biggest conundrum will be getting through, I feel, this weekend. That's a big old task for them to come to Christchurch against the Crusaders side with absolutely nothing to lose, with Hall of Fame weekend on, all of the inductees and basically alumni players from past are all there. It's a big weekend for Crusaders rugby, and the Blues have to walk into that and stay stoic and keep methodically going about their business and get the job done.
Justin Marshall is with us. We're talking Super Rugby over the weekend. Hurricanes winning over MP. And then on Friday night, the Chiefs 26-23 with a late penalty against the Rebels. The question I wrote down was, what's not quite right with this Chiefs side at the moment?
Yeah, they tend to be a bit of an enigma, don't they? They've had their fair share of injuries, and when they lose key players like Damien McKenzie, it does upset them a bit. But they certainly had some firepower back at the weekend, and they still, struggled their way through that game. But I think more of an enigma than the Chiefs. Sorry to use the word twice, but it has to be used twice, Marty. Is the Melbourne Rebels. Like, I just can't work them out. Like they are so very good